Hi, it's Tony. You're outside Pop-Pop's workshop for the second phase of the conversion of this spindle to whatever we're going to make it. I think we're going to have a nice table out of this when we're all done. A few things, but follow along as we put the second phase into action. Okay, so our next step, we've got the boards. I've selected them. They cover the top, so we know we've got enough for this. However, if I just leave them like this, I'm wasting cuts on both ends, and I don't want to have to cut on both ends. I want to just fasten it and route out the excess. Much easier, much quicker. So I'm going to slide these boards over, take a carpenter's pencil, which we don't normally use in fine woodworking, but on outdoor projects, it's just the rough tool to get the job done. So I'm going to mark the end of the boards, set them off the side as I go, and then I'll be able to cut them to size before we bring them back out to glue them on and fasten them. Okay, so Nana was asking me, commenting about why I didn't just draw a circle. I had the boards laid out, I could have drew a circle. As I said before, I want to try to salvage as much of the board as possible. And what I will do too is, like this one is at the edge. So this is the edge board. You could have traced that all the way around. However, I'm going to cut it here initially because I want to use as much board and have some flexibility. So I'll cut it here. It's well beyond the limit. However, this is an imperfect pressure treated piece of lumber. It's going on a imperfect circle. So I need flexibility. And if I shifted as I were laying these out, if it moved at all and I were too close and I cut it, I've got nothing. Then I've ruined a piece. I got to go get another piece. This way I've got flexibility. I can move the way they're positioned on the table. Not a problem. I know I have the length I need. No matter how I lay those out on here, they'll all turn and still cover the same surface because I've got room to grow. So when you're doing an outdoor project, don't think furniture grade, think rough lumber, think framing, and that will give you all the excess you need to do it right the first time. Okay, so we've got them cut to length, and the eagle-eyed viewer might notice that they are turned in a different direction than they were before. I did that to illustrate the point. I can lay these out and mark them with my method any way, any direction I want to. But because the boards on the top here are running this direction, I also want to run these this direction. The boards underneath may expand and contract. Now I'm going to glue these down, but that is my best case scenario for minimizing breakage or cracking of this top to the underlying top. I'm going to use Titebond 3. It's a waterproof glue. I'm going to use some finish nails. Yes, the finish nails will rust. They will break. However, think of them as temporary clamps until the glue sets. So that's what's going to hold this in place while my glue sets. If I find that doesn't work for whatever reason, I can always come back, put some exterior rated screws in there to hold it down too. But this, I think, is going to be the cleanest look for this top. So now we're going to start rolling back half of these, gluing them down. I'll even mark out where the hole is in case somebody wants to put an umbrella in there at some point.
So I noticed that there was quite a gap here.
Yep.
You don't want to like put that on a joiner?
No. One, I ain't got a joiner. Two, I'll be minimizing my boards, shrinking the amount there. I may have to then add in a new board, redo everything. But the most important reason is that this is pressure treated lumber. This is an outdoor project. It's going to swell and shrink with the conditions here in Iowa, especially humidity, cold winters, dry, moist, dry, moist. It's going to move. So those gaps are going to happen. It's much like laying a deck down or fence pickets. You know they're going to shrink over time and expand over time. You don't need furniture grade work on an exterior project unless you're making teak furniture, then knock yourself out. But I'm not working in teak today, so no need to join them. They'll be fine.
And why are you pointing the gun in different directions?
I want it to clamp. In order to clamp, it really needs to go at different angles to put pressure in different directions. If they're all going the same way, it can push out the same way.
Okay.
This way it's going to push only, it's going to push against the nail no matter which way it goes.
What did you do there?
I marked out for the hole in the center for cutting it out later. Okay, so we're all done. We've got them temporarily nailed in place. I'll let the glue set, and then we'll be on to, I want to let it set overnight just so I get the best adhesion possible. And then the next time we'll be routing around the edge. Then we'll give her a light sand, cut out that hole, and this phase of the project will be done. Okay, last step for this phase of the project is I'm going to take my trim router with a simple flush trimming bit on it. We're going to cut in here. I've got a couple of batteries. If I find that this isn't up to the task, I'll bring out my Bosch with a 1/2 inch flush trimming bit. Whatever it takes, we're going to just buzz this around, make the circle, and we'll be ready to move on to the next phase after that. Okay, so that went pretty well. We've got our pressure treated fence pickets down for a top. We'll end up sanding those. We're in deliberation right now as to how we're going to finish this top. And I've got this marked off so that we can open up that hole if you want to put an umbrella in here to make this kind of a shaded spot. I'm still debating on whether I do that now or wait to see. So there's a couple things for phase 3, which we might get done this year or it may wait for spring. But in the meantime, we've got a round top that's covering all those clinch nails before. So this is a much better surface to work off of. We're going to sand it down, may throw some halcyon on there, may do some stain of some kind. Who knows? We've got options. We're going to take that up at a later time in phase 3. Almost did 4, but it's 3, phase 3. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick little video on upgrading this spindle into something more useful. And hopefully you're upgrading something in your shop to something more useful. And remember, you can do this.